They thought it was just gambling. But what the FBI found inside LeBron's files could end everything.
For them when they win, I criticize them when they're messing up in an effort to make sure that you don't do it again. I'm not wishing anybody to fail, but I have to call it how I see it, because I have an audience to answer to. These players, I don't get paid to talk to.
LeBron James is now under serious investigation, and the entire sports world is in shock. FBI agents have raided his homes in Los Angeles and Ohio, revealing that this case goes way beyond basketball. The operation, called Operation Nothing But Bet, has taken over headlines everywhere.
LeBron James might be involved in the biggest gambling scandal in sports history, and the FBI has receipts. So on opening night, the Portland Trail Blazers lose to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And on the very next morning, their head coach, Chauncey Billups, gets arrested by the FBI. Why? Because he was playing high-stakes poker with the Italian mafia, using rigged machines, hidden cameras, and x-ray glasses to scam NBA players out of millions of dollars.
I do the best I can and let the chips fall where they may. You know that about me by now, quick.
But it gets even worse. Terry Rozier was arrested for fixing his own prop bets in Charlotte, pretty much tipping off some of his friends and family that he was going to leave a game early due to injury, and as a result, $200,000 of prop bets were placed on his unders. Speaking of unders, we have some pretty good plays in my Instagram story for prize picks. But on top of that, just look at the footage. I mean, tell me that this man is actually trying to be a good basketball player. But it gets even crazier because then Damon Jones gets arrested, not just for poker, but for getting insider info from the Lakers about LeBron's health before injury reports dropped. Bear in mind, Damon Jones played with LeBron James, so who else could have leaked that info? One of the 4 teams in this sting are the Los Angeles Lakers, and if LeBron's actually involved, this could destroy the league. The NBA is already investigating, and the FBI's concluded its investigation. Follow for more updates, because this is only getting started.
Picture this. Black SUVs rolling up to LeBron James' Brentwood mansion in the middle of the day. FBI agents stepping out with boxes, warrants, and a mission. This wasn't some low-level investigation. This was federal. This was serious. And this was about the man the world calls King James. It didn't stop in LA either. Agents simultaneously hit his property in Ohio, coordinated raids across state lines. They weren't there for autographs. They were there for evidence. Phones, computers, encrypted tablets, financial files dating back years, communication logs, flight records, everything that could connect LeBron James to what prosecutors are calling one of the most explosive scandals the NBA has ever seen. Operation Nothing But Bet. That's the name investigators gave this probe. And it's not just about gambling. It's about insider information, leaked medical data, secret betting rings, and money. Lots of it, moving through shadows that stretch from NBA locker rooms all the way into Hollywood's darkest corners.
Individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for
The first major crack in the story came when LeBron's close friend and
Hear me out. The injury report thing, I find very, very, very interesting, because people have been getting paid for information on injuries since the dawn of sports betting creation, because it's the easiest way to get an edge the fastest. And so with Damon Jones releasing the injury reports and getting paid for that, who do you think the book calls to be able to adjust their line? Because they're on the hook for all the money that's being bet on those games. You don't think that the sports books have insider information on injury reports? This is where I'm a little in between on. I don't think that the books are helping the integrity of the game when it comes to stuff like that, where get mad at a coach for talking.
In regards to what you're saying about the injury report was created to prevent insider information.
Correct.
So they work in cahoots with one another. Like, hey, we need to know if this person's going to be active.
But there's rules, but there's also no rules.
Over 30 people have already been arrested. former NBA players, coaches, and individuals tied to organized crime. The feds didn't just crack open a betting ring, they exposed an entire underground network. And somehow, every thread they pull seems to lead back to one name: LeBron James. Now, to be clear, LeBron hasn't been charged with anything. Not yet. But here's the thing. The FBI doesn't raid your house because they're bored. They don't seize your devices because they want to check your Instagram. When federal agents show up at your door with a warrant, it means they believe you're connected to something big. And right now, the biggest question in sports isn't about championships or MVPs. It's this: what did LeBron know? And when did he know it? Social media exploded the moment footage surfaced showing those FBI vehicles parked outside his mansion. Fans were in shock, analysts were scrambling, and LeBron, he went silent. No tweets, no statements, nothing. Just a quiet message from his legal team saying they were fully cooperating with the investigation. But in this game, silence sounds a lot like fear.
Jones suddenly turned massive when agents started showing up at LeBron's homes. FBI teams reportedly seized phones, computers, and financial files, searching for connections between Jones's betting ring and a top player's money network. That player being LeBron himself. Officials haven't charged him yet, but fans are already asking if he's really just a witness.
First indictment involves 6 defendants. This scheme is an insider sports betting conspiracy that exploited confidential information about National Basketball Association athletes and teams.
After a raid where over 30 people were arrested, including Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups, here's where things get even trickier. In some reports, LeBron James' name popped up in connection with the investigation, but there are no formal allegations, no charges, and no evidence linking him directly to any gambling activity. Investigators say someone leaked inside info that LeBron wouldn't suit up for a 2023 Lakers game, and a wave of smart money hit the books right after. Most likely, his name surfaced because investigators were casting a wide net, interviewing players, checking betting markets, and looking at communication patterns around certain games. But for now, LeBron is not accused of anything. But what's next?
So how did we get here? How did one of the most carefully controlled brands in sports end up at the center of a federal investigation? The answer starts with a name you might remember: Damon Jones. Jones wasn't just some random guy. He was LeBron's friend, his former teammate, someone who'd been in the inner circle for years. They came up together. They celebrated championships together. They built trust. And according to federal prosecutors, Jones used that trust to run an insider betting operation right under everyone's noses. Here's what the indictment says. Damon Jones was selling injury information, real, confidential intel, before major Lakers games. Not rumors, not speculation, actual inside knowledge about who was playing and who wasn't. And he was doing it for money. Big money. 2 games stand out. February 2023, Lakers versus the Milwaukee Bucks, and January 2024, Lakers versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Both times, Jones allegedly leaked info about LeBron's status before the public knew, before the media knew, before the betting lines adjusted. In one text message, prosecutors say Jones told someone to get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight. Just hours later, LeBron mysteriously sat out that very game with an ankle issue. The Bucks rolled to an easy victory, and somewhere out there, someone made a fortune off inside information. Now think about that timing. LeBron sits out, the game goes exactly how the bettors expected, and Damon Jones, his friend, his trusted ally, was allegedly orchestrating it all from the shadows. When Jones got indicted, people assumed it was just about him, a bad apple, a guy who got greedy. But then the FBI did something that changed everything. They shifted their focus. They started digging into Jones's communications, and that's when LeBron's name started appearing in warrants. Agents didn't just want Jones's phones. They wanted LeBron's too. They didn't just want betting records. They wanted financial files, encrypted messages, and anything that could show a connection between the betting ring and the star player's network. Court filings started using phrases like coordination of privileged information. That's not language you use when you're investigating a lone wolf. That's conspiracy talk. That's the kind of wording that suggests multiple people working together. And when the FBI raided LeBron's homes, both of them, it sent a clear message. This wasn't about questioning a witness. This was about following the money. And the trail led straight to the king.
LeBron laughing beside a famous music mogul on Instagram Live saying, "Ain't no party like his party." It seemed harmless back then, but now it's being replayed like evidence. Viewers slowed every frame, analyzing his tone and expressions, wondering if there was more behind that line. LeBron hasn't been accused of any crimes, but insiders say his name came up in talks about guests at those now infamous private gatherings, events described in federal testimony as far darker than the glamorous image once shown online. LeBron's legal team won't speak, and the Lakers stay quiet.
Let's talk about timing, because in this story, timing is everything. February 7th, 2023, LeBron James breaks Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time scoring record. It's one of the greatest moments in basketball history. The entire world is watching. Celebrities courtside, tributes pouring in, LeBron standing at the center of it all, finally claiming the throne as the NBA's all-time leading scorer. 2 days later, he sits out. Ankle injury. Nothing major, they said. Just being cautious. The Lakers lose to the Bucks without him. And according to prosecutors, that's the exact game Damon Jones told someone to bet big on Milwaukee for. You see the problem here? This isn't some random game in November. This is right after the biggest achievement of LeBron's career, and he mysteriously doesn't play the one game federal investigators say it was tied to insider betting. Now, maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe LeBron really did tweak his ankle, and the timing was just unfortunate. But here's what legal experts are saying. The FBI doesn't pursue cases like this unless they believe there's a pattern. One suspicious game? Maybe. Two? That's a trend. And when you add in the encrypted devices, the financial files, and the warrants mentioning coordination of privileged information, it stops looking like bad luck and starts looking like something much darker.
Stage of
Sources
the NBA.
say agents seized tablets and devices containing schedules and flight logs dating all the way back to 2022. That's right when Damon Jones started shadowing the Lakers more closely, traveling with the team, showing up at practices, blurring the line between personal friendship and professional access. And here's where it gets even messier. The FBI isn't just tracking betting money anymore. Investigators have reportedly expanded Operation Nothing But Bet to include possible money laundering across sports and entertainment. They're looking at sponsorships, charity events, luxury parties, anywhere large sums in money change hands with minimal oversight. LeBron's legal team won't comment, beyond saying they're cooperating. The Lakers organization has stayed quiet, and LeBron himself? He's been seen courtside in LA wearing a floral cardigan, smiling for the cameras. But insiders say the pressure is crushing him. He's canceled interviews, limited his travel, gone ghost on social media. For a man who spent 2 decades controlling his narrative, this silence feels like the loudest thing he's ever said. But just when you think this story can't get any darker, it does. Because the FBI isn't just looking at betting anymore. They're digging into LeBron's private life, his connections, his inner circle. And what they're finding ties him to a world no one expected. Stay with me, because this next part changes everything. Here's where this investigation takes a turn nobody saw coming. When FBI agents raided LeBron's properties, they weren't just mapping his connections to Damon Jones. They were tracing his entire social circle, and one trail led them straight into the entertainment world, to a powerful music mogul who's currently sitting in prison for running what federal testimony describes as freak-off gatherings, events that were far darker than the glamorous image once sold to the public. Now, LeBron hasn't been accused of anything related to these gatherings, but here's the problem. His name keeps coming up. And in a federal investigation like this, patterns matter more than coincidences. Remember that old Instagram Live video? The one where LeBron's laughing, leaning back, totally relaxed, and he says, "Ain't no party like his party"? At the time, it seemed harmless, just 2 famous guys joking around. But now, that clip has been replayed millions of times, slowed down, analyzed frame by frame. People are asking, was there more behind that line? Did LeBron know what kind of parties were really happening? According to sources, LeBron's name appeared in private guest coordination messages dating back to 2018. These weren't public invites. These were exclusive, behind-the-scenes communications tied to the mogul's inner circle. Files that haven't been made public yet, but that federal agents are reportedly reviewing right now. Here's what makes this connection so explosive. When the FBI expanded Operation Nothing But Bet, they pulled financial data linked to the music mogul's business network. And what they found were overlapping middlemen. The same people handling Damon Jones' betting money were also moving cash through entertainment payments tied to the mogul's empire. Internal notes mention cross-reference ledgers. That means investigators believe some of the same financial channels used for insider betting were also connected to payments flowing through celebrity events, fundraisers, and private parties. And LeBron's devices, those encrypted tablets agents seized, allegedly contain texts linked to the mogul's management team. Now, here's where it gets really uncomfortable. Sources claim several recovered messages from LeBron's mansion are under review for ties to secret events in Los Angeles and Miami. Whether those conversations were purely business or something more personal isn't clear yet. But in the court of public opinion, silence is guilt. Behind the scenes, publicists are scrambling. Sponsors are freezing deals. 2 major brands have already hit pause on their partnerships with LeBron. And NBA insiders aren't asking about Damon Jones anymore. They're asking a much darker question. What did LeBron really know about those private parties? A former event promoter connected to the mogul's circle claims FBI analysts found contact logs on seized phones from the mogul's security staff, logs that mentioned top athletes. None of it's been confirmed, but online, people are treating it like a smoking gun. Screenshots, timelines, theories connecting every dot into one massive conspiracy. And LeBron? Still silent. No press conferences, no Instagram posts, nothing. What once looked like common control now feels calculated, like someone waiting for the storm to pass, or worse, like someone hoping the truth stays buried.
Let's talk about loyalty. Because if you know anything about LeBron James, you know this. He never forgets where he came from. Akron, Ohio. The kid who grew up with nothing and built an empire on hard work, talent, and a promise to bring everyone with him. That loyalty has always been part of LeBron's brand. His childhood friends became his business partners. His high school teammates stayed in his inner circle. He didn't just make it. He brought the whole crew along for the ride. And for years, that story was inspiring. The self-made superstar who never left anyone behind. But now, that same loyalty is being investigated by the FBI. Sources say some of LeBron's longtime friends, people with no official team roles, would often show up at Lakers practices. They'd travel with the team. They'd be in restricted areas where only players and staff were supposed to be. And when anyone questioned it, the answer was always the same. If LeBron wanted them there, they stayed. It fit his image, the loyal king who trusted his circle and kept his people close. But investigators are now asking a different question. Did that trust create vulnerabilities? Did those blurred boundaries give people like Damon Jones access to privileged information that should have stayed inside the organization? Former teammates saying LeBron had been quietly warned for years. People told him to be careful, to watch the company he kept, to pay attention to who had messy money ties. But LeBron didn't listen, not because he was naive, but because for him, loyalty wasn't negotiable. It was a code, and breaking that code meant betraying everything he stood for. Psychologists who study fame say this is common at LeBron's level. When you're under constant pressure, you build a tight circle where criticism disappears and loyalty rules. In that world, trust becomes everything. But it also creates blind spots. You stop seeing red flags because the people waving them are the ones you trust most. The FBI believes that loyalty might be the missing link in this entire investigation. They think it's what ties the betting ring, the entertainment money, and the social connections to the music mogul's world all together. They believe LeBron's devotion to his circle kept him from setting boundaries. And now, those same people he protected might be the reason federal agents are digging through his most private files. One analyst put it bluntly: LeBron's loyalty built his empire, but it might also be what brings it down. For 2 decades, LeBron James has been more than a basketball player. He's been a brand, a movement, an empire built on discipline, control, and an image so spotless it seemed bulletproof. From endorsements to activism, from Hollywood deals to family branding, LeBron wrote the blueprint for modern fame. But now, that empire is cracking under the weight of federal subpoenas and dark whispers from a fallen entertainment world once tied to him. Analysts say LeBron's recent withdrawal from major charity events signals one thing: intense damage control. One LA PR expert put it bluntly: when a brand as spotless as LeBron's goes quiet, it's because the lawyers are talking now. And they're not wrong. LeBron has canceled interviews. He's limited his public appearances. He's gone dark on social media, something he almost never does. For a man who spent his entire career shaping his narrative, this silence feels like surrender. Meanwhile, the internet has exploded. Conspiracy theories are everywhere. People are connecting Operation Nothing But Bet to the music mogul's case through hidden accounts, shell companies, and fundraisers disguised as luxury parties. Investigators haven't confirmed any of it, but every unsealed file, every leaked warrant, every new detail just adds more fuel. Fans are comparing flight logs. They're pulling up old photos. They're matching dates and locations, pointing out every moment LeBron was in the same cities, tied to those secret events. The amateur detectives have taken over. And in their minds, LeBron's silence is all the confirmation they need. Even critics from within the sports world are resurfacing. Stephen A. Smith's old rant has been replayed thousands of times. Father, great husband, great philanthropist, great businessman, great director, great producer, great host, great basketball player, great leader. My God, I have done everything but put diapers and a bib on this brother, but it ain't enough, because one thing matters to him, and one thing only, and that's him being recognized as the greatest of all time. Well, you're not in my books. At the time, it was just hot take sports debate. Now, though, it feels prophetic. Like Smith saw something in LeBron that the rest of the world missed. A man so obsessed with legacy that he surrounded himself with yes men. A man so fixated on being the greatest that he stopped seeing the cracks forming around him. And now those cracks are wide open. The FBI is investigating. Sponsors are pulling back. Fans are divided. Some still believe in him. Others think he's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. And the truth? Nobody knows yet. But when it comes out, and it will, it could rewrite everything we thought we knew about fame, power, and what it really costs to be a king. So here's the real question, the one nobody can answer yet. Was LeBron a victim of his own loyalty? A man who trusted the wrong people and got caught in the crossfire? Or is there something darker here? Something he knew? Something he hid?
The FBI raided LeBron James' mansion. They seized his devices. They pulled his financial records. They connected him to a betting ring run by his closest friend. They traced his ties to a convicted music mogul's dark empire. And through it all, LeBron has said nothing. Operation Nothing But Bet has already taken down over 30 people. Former players, coaches, organized crime figures. And now, the biggest name in basketball is caught in the middle of it all. Not charged, not cleared, just there, waiting, watching, silent. So what do you think really happened behind the scenes? Is LeBron's silence strategic? A calculated move by his legal team to avoid saying the wrong thing? Or is he hiding something the world isn't ready for? Was this loyalty gone wrong? Or the beginning of a cover-up about to explode? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think. Do you believe LeBron knew what Damon Jones was doing? Do you think those ties to the music mogul's world mean something darker? Or is this all just smoke with no fire? Whatever you believe, one thing is clear. LeBron James built an empire on perfection. And right now, that empire is shaking. The truth hasn't surfaced yet, but when it does, it could change everything. Thanks for sticking with us through this wild story. If this shocked you, hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to see it. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to Ball Stories, because we don't just cover basketball, we uncover the untold stories that shake the world of fame, power, and the game we love. More videos like this are coming. Don't miss them.